Right, hello everybody. Hope everybody's well. Watching this down. Right, who's here? Kerry's definitely here. Hello, Kerry. Landy, Richard. That's it so far. Um, let's see. Got bored and started early. Alright, hold on, let me just get sorted out. Just let me know if we've got good sound and all that stuff. There we go. Yeah, I think it's all going through and whatnot. Yeah, just let me know if we're all coming through all right, and then we can get started, I suppose. Hello, Hubris. How you doing? Sound is good. Picture too. Okay, good stuff. All right, let's go all the way to the top and have a look at some of Kerry's stuff. So Kerry was talking about religious trauma and the idea of doing shadow work. Zanka, hello Zanka. Going through Wicca, all of that stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's lots and lots of ways we can do this. And I think the cycle of the year is actually quite a good way of doing it. Actually, going through the entire cycle of the seasons, what the seasons represent in our own personal lives, and the cycles that we go through. So yeah, great idea actually. Leviathan is great for doing. No, I don't really know. I suppose some people would say shadow work, but I would actually say cleansing, emotional balancing, that type of stuff. And the emotional balancing becomes very important when you're doing shadow work and all that stuff, because when you're doing a lot of shadow work, you have to kind of avoid being reactive. Otherwise, you don't really get very far with the shadow work itself. Corn, hello. Thanks for joining. Glad you could join. Just going through some of Kerry's stuff right at the beginning before the show even started. Kind of stepping back and being the observer, which is why meditation becomes quite important as well. And then you asked about Asmodeus and lust and the aspects of the power coming into the pelvic area. You actually find this throughout a lot of magic. Actually, it's kind of like I have noticed some people talk about the connection with. If we kind of imagine ourselves as this ball of threads of thousands and thousands of threads of energy, and we create this ball, that's what we really are. Is just this energy flow of energy, and a lot of people will say that it comes out of the belly area or the lower dandian area, and that's kind of like that pelvic area that we're talking about. And all interactions come in and out through that connection to everything. Is through that. So we do find this quite a lot, and it's the we talk about three cauldrons, or the three dandians, or kind of basically the three cauldrons at the end of the day. We kind of have that connection with all things through that lower dandian area. So when we do work with lust, it's very much a lower kind of area that we're working with. And if you're working with the elements within the body from a Kabbalistic perspective, then is right at the bottom, in the groin area, and that's the kind of ooh la la. Zanka would like that one, and all of that stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of connection there. It's not necessarily connected with Kundalini. Awakening that energy, you would feel that as well. If you're working with the root or the sacral area, you're gonna obviously feel the energy in that area. So yeah, I mean, that's where Kundalini starts, where the the serpent's coiled 3.5 times, but there's a lot of reasons why we'd actually do that. And I mentioned the Flame of the Cauldron. I hope you enjoyed that book review. I quite enjoyed that book review. Gabriel and Eve are here. Hello, thanks for joining. So I'm just going through all of Kerry's stuff. And you also mentioned that Garaz has been with you for a year and a day. And hope you can make him proud. Good stuff, nice. Lovely. Alright, so I hope that kind of briefly covered all that. Right, so Yolandi said, I find some people in the community are very dismissive about religious trauma, mostly the ones that never was part of an abusive denomination. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't want to deal with it, and that's the problem, but I think everybody who comes from a Christian background, not everybody, some people had a good experience, which is why they can incorporate Christianity into their craft, but a lot of people came from abuse and negativity, and that trauma is something that needs to be dealt with, and it actually needs, we were saying this a few times, in the pagan communities we actually need psychologists that can deal with this type of thing, and unfortunately it's lacking. I'm not a psychologist, I can't really help with that kind of level of religious trauma. I can suggest doing shadow work, I can suggest going to speak to a therapist and all that stuff, but we really do need more therapists in the pagan communities who can deal with this type of stuff. And the problem is that a lot of people come from that background and they get into groups and it just becomes a dumping ground for everybody's trauma, and that's all it really revolves around then. And it doesn't really go anywhere, it doesn't really heal anybody, so guidance from a therapist is incredibly valuable. Mimalek's here. Hello, Mimalek. Gabriel said, it's a pleasure finally being on a live. Is that Spellbound? I think it was Spellbound. Hang on, let's just check. Sorry, let's go back now. Yes, it was Spellbound. Eve, happy Sunday, and to you too. Landy, I still struggle with mine. Pops up every now and then. Yeah, it's one of those things that pops up. I wouldn't say I had religious trauma. I guess I did. I suppose I did. Just came up in my own little special way, but I still find myself every now and again just thinking of in a particular Christian worldview, and there's some things that are going to stick with me and stay with me, there's some things I may agree with in my own path, but there's certain things that kind of are programmed there and I want to get rid of them, and they kind of pop up. I didn't realise they were still there type of thing. That's years later, so it takes a long time, it takes a lifetime, it really does. And I sometimes question my decision to turn my back on the old religion. Which old religion you're talking about? Because witchcraft is the old religion. Christianity was the new religion, technically speaking. Yeah. Right. Let's see what's going on over here. Your old religion, yeah, the Christian one. Yolandi, I wonder if Indian and Pakistani cultures' familial traditions based on religion, how they treat women. I don't know if they're Muslim or not. Not sure it's a question there, Kerry. I think, when it comes to India, it's a very weird thing that goes on there, but because in their culture, and in their everyday, normal, modern culture, they treat women really badly. But in Hindu religious aspects, it's a totally different thing. There's reverence for the feminine. It just doesn't make any sense how the modern culture is kind of viewing and treating women. It just doesn't make any sense to me, to be honest with you. Gabriel 10 out of 10 playlist. That's good. Glad you like it. I thought I'd do some goth music today, and I was going for like some kind of real goth stuff, like Lebanon, Hanover, and what's the other one? Corpus Delicti. I'm going to do the playlists around them, but some of the stuff's not really that great. So I went with this one. We should say great music, good stuff. Yes, I like this. Remember, like my grandmother used to scare me with the devil too much. But nowadays I stopped being religious. The bigger the pressure, the worse the resistance. True, very true. Yeah, that word religious is a bit of a weird one, actually. I just want to pop this chat out. Make it bigger, I can read it better. Yolandi, he who shall not be named. Okay. I'm losing people today. Yolandi, India has Muslim, Christian, Hindu, and a lot of different religions. It's a cultural thing. Yeah, it does. It does. Okay, bring this over here. And then I can zoom in, if it will allow me. Oh, there we go. Okay, your old religion. Come on, you silly thing. Let's try this. That's better. Okay. Now I can read everything. It's very slow tonight. Is everybody here? Yeah. So what's everybody been up to? What have you been doing? What magical stuff has been happening? All that stuff. Quick question from Gabriel. If I have demonic names pop into my head like channeled, should I reach out to that spirit? Not necessarily. Do some divination. That's always the answer, is just do some divination. Find out why the spirit's name has popped into your head. It may not be for you to reach out to them. It may just be for you to become aware of the energy that they hold, or the station that they hold, because it might be something that you need in your life, but it might not necessarily mean that you have to follow that spirit. It's just making you aware of a particular thing. So do some divination. Just because spirits' names pop up, or even if you're having communication with a spirit and they tell you to do something, you don't have to. It's always best to do your divination and just check that everything's hunky-dory and we're all going okay. Alright. Kerry, I think I bought Orion Foxwood's book under your name at Amazon. Oh, do you mean one of my links? Hope so, because then I get a small commission. It's only $1 or something like that, but it goes towards getting more books to review, so that's good. Thank you. I cut short my vacation from Energy Man Prison. I had some problems with getting up at 4 to 5 a.m, but a little siphoning and my sleep improved. Okay. If you need the energy to live, then just find ethical ways to do it, that's all. There's ethical ways to do everything. Um, Gabriel, it was Lucifuge Rougher Carl, which pertains to what I need help with at the moment. It's just odd how I pick up on certain frequencies at times. Yeah, well, I mean, no, it's not really that odd, I don't think. If you are focused on a particular thing at the time, then you're going to start to kind of vibrate at that frequency. So you'll be picking up on those frequencies a lot easier. You know, things that actually suit that same level. So I wouldn't say it's odd at all. Corn, I've been reading the Picatrix, oh my goodness, and learning about the 28 mansions of the moon. I've had my religious trauma, but dying as a child made me realise I wasn't supposed to be a Christian. I chose to be a shaman. Good stuff, yeah. Yeah, the Picatrix is not an easy book to read. In fact, I started reading it because I needed more information or knowledge about the Decans. And Kai, if you don't know who Kai is my very, very, very old friend who is an astrologer. And I mentioned to them that I'm reading the Picatrix, and they're like, "Why?" Because I mean, if you don't understand astrology, I mean, not even just the basics, but astrology is kind of like you're not really going to pick up all the blinds and everything that's in the book itself. So it's a bit of a difficult one now. Kerry, what's the best way to invite Asmodeus into your life? Same way as any other spirit, just reach out, give offerings, ask, do prayers daily, create a relationship, same way you would with any other spirit. And with Asmodeus, I would just say ask him to go slowly, because that sudden rush of power influx can be quite disorientating. But yeah, I think you'll be quite used to that, so shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, just like any other spirit, just ask, give offerings, offer things that they like, find out, go and do the research, find out what they like from other practitioners who have worked with the spirit, and start doing that. And then when you get communication, those offerings can change to something that's more personal between the two of you. So yeah, same as any relationship. Mimilek, I don't siphon energy on anyone except private enemies. Ethics of that are either achieving a goal or revenge, but so far I never needed to sustain myself with someone's energy. Okay. You know, you always, I have to just say this, you know, you're always talking about your enemies, and every time I read that I'm thinking, I don't have any enemies. I don't know why people have enemies. I mean, what's considered an enemy? I don't know, actually. But yeah, anyway, that's just me, I suppose. Kerry, Kai is awesome. Kai is absolutely awesome. They are brilliant. Corn, my Alexandria priest and priestess has been helping me get to a first degree. I'm enjoying the door being opened. You have to do a lot of shadow work during path work of the Kabbalah. Good stuff, yeah. Yeah, I find it quite interesting that you're following the Alexandrian path and some form of shamanic. And from what I remember you mentioning previously, it's a very, unless I'm thinking of somebody else, it was a very traditional shamanic path, as far as I remember. Can't remember where you are now. And I only say that because Alexandrian Wicca is heavily ceremonial, so it's very. Personally, I just see it as a very big gap between that and shamanic practices. But yeah, I mean, there's obviously going to be overlaps. It's very slow today. I'm still reading all the same stuff because I haven't really had much time to read lately, so can't really talk about new books I'm reading. I'm going through that Modern Demonology now that Orion Foxwood's book's done, so I'll review that one at the end of this month. But that's about it. Kerry Lee, I've been thinking about going through the Abramelin. Is it transactional? No, I wouldn't really consider it transactional. I'm assuming when you say transactional, you mean giving offerings to get something, that type of thing. But the Abramelin is more about inflaming yourself with prayer, bringing yourself closer to God. You know, quite honestly, I wouldn't actually recommend the Abramelin for anybody who has been working modern demonology. It's too diverse. You know, the Abramelin is very Christian based, and it's a fantastic working. It's brilliant. I did it myself. It was long before I was working modern demonology in any way, shape, or form. But you know, it is very Christian based, and the ending after you actually get knowledge and conversation with the Holy Guardian Angel, you have to force the demons into submission, and that didn't really sit well with me then. And as I said, that was before I was doing anything in regards to working with the demons. So yeah, there's a lot of conflict. You're going to come up with a hell of a lot of conflicts if you're going to work at Abramelin now that you've worked with the daemons on such a close proximity. I would find another avenue personally. Gabriel, do you have any personal experience working with Lucifer? In my experience, he seems to like to be called on in the daytime. Yeah, you know, when we're talking about Lucifer, we're talking about a personal spirit, really. I mean, a lot of them are all personal, but I do find that Lucifer becomes a very personal spirit. It's kind of like your light bringer, your bringer of gnosis, the illuminator of your path. And that's different for everybody. I mean, the Lucifers that I've worked with over the years have differed so much. You know, from a traditional witchcraft perspective, Lucifer started out being a masculine figure with horns and a flame between the horns. But that's traditional witchcraft interpretation of Lucifer, and over the years kind of stayed the same, but has become feminine instead of masculine. And I've also worked with Lucifer from Theodore Rose's book, and it's a very, very different Lucifer. Very different entity altogether. So there's lots and lots of Lucifers, and this is where, you know, this is what I was talking about. On Wednesday, I was talking about the titles and finding the personal names, finding the personal spirits that you work with. And I do find it interesting. Somebody actually commented, and I didn't really click at the time, but I kind of used the analogy of calling an electrician. In regards to the same type of thing as Lucifer being a title. You don't know the name yet, and you call the electrician. You don't know the name yet, you just call them the electrician. And Lucifer's the light bringer of the electrician. So I said it was a brilliant analogy. I didn't even make the connection when I was talking about it, but I thought that was quite good. But yeah, Lucifer becomes a very, very personal thing, I find. Corn, they very close together, Native American and the Kabbalah. If you, I did do a review of this book, but if you haven't read it, you should actually read it, because the author actually is Jewish, is a rabbi, but decided to become or make a very, very stronger connection with their ancestors, and they actually did this through a Native American tribe in the area. So yes, I do agree. There's a very strong, very close connection. But it's Rabbi Gershon Winkler. The book is called Magick of the Ordinary. Brilliant book. Absolutely, it's one of my absolute all-time favorite books. Sorry, let me carry on. Oh yes, there we go. Book you mentioned a while back, Magick of the Ordinary. I should have read the whole thing first, I suppose. Has pointed out that what I know for a while, the answer to answer your question. Okay, all right, there we go. Sorry, I should have read the whole thing. Would have saved some time. Good stuff. All right. Yolandi, I've been dying to say this. When the regulars greet each other at the beginning of the show, it feels like an episode of Cheers. True. Celeste, hello Celeste, thanks for joining. Just got S. Conley, the complete book of demonology, started reading it last night. Brilliant book, love that book. I do like Stephanie's writing style. It's very straightforward, to the point. There's no beating around the bush, no kind of, fluffy poetry involved or allegory and things like that. It's just straight to the point, and I really do like that style. I do find that books, I don't know, books lately tend to be lacking a bit. I bought one recently it cost $11 or $12, and it's like there was no substance in it. So I'm not really sure what's going on there, but yeah, obviously her older books, brilliant, especially the complete book of demonology. That was that kind of covers everything. Luke, hello Luke. Am I doing something wrong? Sometimes I'm talking with deity in each session, then bringing me to different places, energy work, etc. Sometimes they are very silent to you for a few sessions. You're probably not focusing on yourself enough, and that may be the message that's coming through. You need to focus more on yourself, on your own energy bodies, what you can do with the energy around you. And I don't know how much you're relying on the deities themselves, but it's probably, that's what's coming through, is the thing that they are trying to tell you to stop working with them so much. Work with yourself, journal, write your own feelings down, what your experiences are on a day-to-day basis without them. You've got to rely on yourself. You are number one in all interactions. Doesn't matter where you are in life or what you're doing, you are number one, and you have to realize that. So if they're being silent for periods of time, it's probably because they need you to be with you, really, really be with you. And it's very important. Alright. Angeli, did I send you the YouTube link where they discuss the different old grimoires? Probably. I've seen a few of those discussions, and they're usually just based on Christian demonology and rubbish, to be honest with you. Unless it's somebody like Jake Stratton Kent, who kind of really delves into the depths of what the grimoires, the overlaps and everything else, and from a really good perspective. That, as I said, they're usually just these, the Ars Goetia is a book of evil summonings of spirits and all of this stuff. Yeah, I know. Quite silly. Kerry, I remember that analogy. You were talking about Satan. Was that the electrician stuff? Yeah, I was kind of going between Satan and Lucifer. That was on Wednesday's video. Andrea's here. Hello, Andrea. And hello, Alistair. Alistair in the kitchen yet? We have to ask, because thing. Leaking one session with Cleodna, we talk a lot, and we were in the sea, a lot of energy work, and then I heard her clear voice. And since then, she didn't use this clear voice. Okay, also, Luke, this is something that is concerning me. Are you actually hearing audible with your ears voices, or with your mind, or are you actually hearing voices? If you are, you're not supposed to be, if I can put it that way. When we talk to deities, we don't hear audible voices. We get messages another way. So please just be careful. I'm not sure. I'm picking up a few things. I have been for the past few weeks, and I am a bit concerned. Right. Corn. I have read it, and it's a wonderful book. Fool's Crow Wisdom and Power Book is a good read. What? Fool's Crow Wisdom and... Are these two different books or the same book? Fool's Crow Wisdom. Let's just see what I get with that. Oh, Wisdom and Power. Okay, Fool's Crow. That looks interesting. It's on Internet Archive as well. I'll put it in my favourites on there. If anybody has not got an account on Internet Archive, you should, because it's really, really good. It's like an online library. You can actually borrow books. It's really, really cool. Okay, I'm putting this in my favourites. So many on there to read as well. Just piles up. Lost my place, am I? Hello Andrea, hello Andrea, hello Andrea. Richard, are you okay? You are so quiet. Yes, all good. Celeste, I kind of want to get the illustrated version. Is that the Michael Ford one? I'm not a fan of Michael Ford myself, but that's, again, just me. Oops, no, that's Goatia. Oops, that's the same thing. Ooh, there's one by Hyatt and Duquette. Is that the one? Because that... Oh, one heard from Tracy. I'm praying for Tracy buffering. Am I buffering again? No data. Okay. Let's see what's going on over here. I just want to wait for all this internet stuff to clear up. It says here your stream quality is good. It says over here that I've got error. Okay. But the chat's still coming through, so I'm assuming everybody can see and hear me. So let's just carry on, shall we? Wait, where's my chat gone? There's my chat gone. Oh, let me just look at this book, Illustrated Galatia. I'm fine, just buffered now. Okay, good. Yeah, no, that's a different one then. Right, let's try spelling it right. assume it's this one you're talking about, because you said beige and red writing on the cover. No, that's got no red writing. Oh, that's got over there. Well, I don't know who that's. No, that's the Aleister Crowley collection. That's not the same one. I don't know. The only one that's coming up really is the one by Hyatt and Duquette. So, anyway, carrying on. Yes, we're going down the book rabbit hole. I do like the book rabbit hole. She was in the chat last week, if I remember correctly. Didn't she say something? Yeah, she was going to go for an operation. Total hysterectomy. Cancer, as far as I remember. So yeah, everybody's wants to know. Gabriel, any tips on strengthening one's connection with Infernal's Dark Divine? I do a mala of enchanting and offer water and incense along with candles. What do you think? Yes, yeah, no, absolutely. It's what I do every day with all the spirits I work. It's just, I do focus on one spirit over a period of time, but my morning prayers are kind of like hello to a variety of different spirits that I kind of recognise. And then I offer them water, and I light one of those little oil lamps and a stick of incense every day. So that's what I do, and it's enough to keep the connection going. And then obviously if you want to do some more, maybe it's on a new moon or the full moon or something like that, or at a particular time of the year during a Sabbath, you might want to do a particular dedication to them, to a bigger ritual. And it's really about communicating with them and working with them, creating that bonding relationship. But if you're doing chanting and offering water and incense every day, that's absolutely perfect. Some stuff about Tracy. And then Corn, The Dictionary of Angels by Gustav Davison is an interesting book to get. Has a few rituals in the back of the book. Okay, right. Can I copy that? Yes, I can copy. Alright, there we go. Let's have a look at that one. Trying to get a bit of a stuffy nose. Hands of Angels. Including the fallen angels. Nice. Bloody hell, look at the price of that hardcover. $200. I'm not really into angel work myself. I've worked with the angels in the past and then. That's the Dictionary of Demons. That's got grey scribblings with red writing, but that's a different one. I just find these tend to start getting a bit into Christian demonology and a bit of a turn off. Look at the author. I heard something about Crowley that upset me. I hope it's not true that he tortured a cat or cats to excrement the 9 lives theory. Does anyone know about... I haven't heard anything about him torturing cats, no. Probably not. I'll have a look for it now though. The HTA is going for $250 at Amazon. Goodness me. These books get a bit expensive. Let's have a look at the author. Nothing about the author. Absolutely nothing about the author. That's not very good. Okay. Don't know anything about the author. Not even a picture of him. It's very rude. Should pose. Pose for Amazon. I'm going to look for that. Okay, my main focus is Lucifer at the moment, but Cornac is a close second. I almost always feel Lucifer's presence when chanting through physical pressure and touch. Yeah, you're going to get that. A lot of people, specifically in regards to Lucifer, actually, in modern demonology anyway, a lot of people actually report feeling like a cold, like an icy breeze almost. It's icy, but it's kind of comfortable at the same time. I felt it myself. It's very interesting. Celeste, author of that book is... Oh, I do not like Arundel Overman either. He's just not a nice man. It's not the Order of Nine Angles and Nazi side to things. It's the just puts people down. He just doesn't have anything nice to say about anybody. Well, neither do I. I meant, but yeah, I've never liked him anyway. I read one of his books. I thought it was just a really bad treatment of the spirits, and then he went into bloody Toltec warrior practice, and it was kind of a regurgitation of one of Victor Sanchez's books. Just changed terminology here and there, so I wasn't very impressed myself. Crowley killing cats. Let's have a look if we can find anything. Andy, they're all loony as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, this is the problem with people like Crowley. He's got so much attention. I mean, he was an arsehole. Can't get me wrong, Aleister Crowley was a complete fucking arsehole, but he was a good magician here and there. There is something about he famously killed a cat in his youth. He succeeded in killing most of the dogs. What the fuck? Yeah, I don't know. The problem is that a lot of the stories... I mean, I've read a lot of stories that are completely false. I've read some stories that are just old things that have been skewed. It's just these people... So anybody who gets into the spotlight, you can expect stuff to happen. There is this story about Crowley, aged 14, killing a cat to see if it had 9 lives. That's probably that. Yeah, I mean, Crowley also wrote somewhere that he killed 1,000 babies. And everybody was up in arms that, oh no, Crowley's killing children and babies and everything else. He's sacrificing babies to Satan and blah, blah, blah. What he really did, he just let it go. He just didn't really bother correcting anybody. And all he was saying was he masturbated. And that was it. But he just decided to let everybody run with it. So yeah, that was Crowley. I don't know. I can't believe half of the stories anyway. But anyway. Sorry everyone. My dyslexia is for today. You look deciphering my stuff. Oh, no, doing alright. Celeste, good to know. I won't get it. Look, I mean, I say authors are this and that. It doesn't mean that you have to go on my word. It's better to, if you're interested, if you really want to read the book, if it kind of grabs you, read it. But also take into consideration that there are certain people who may say X, Y, and Z about that author. It's my opinion. It doesn't need to be everybody else's opinion, sort of thing. I have been on groups that lots and lots of... Overman kind of... Excuse the noise. Overman kind of started like hundreds of freaking Facebook groups. And it was really just advertising his books. And he kind of propped himself up as this expert, and I think it got a bit into his head, and there were several times where somebody would come on and they would ask a question, and he would tell them to stop being so stupid and all of this stuff. He's just not a nice person. I didn't like him from the beginning, just that icky vibe. And there was some stuff he said in an interview as well, a few years back. He kind of said something about pagans, and I don't think he intended it to be derogatory, but it was really, really putting pagans down. So yeah, no, just don't like him. But as I said, if it catches your attention and you want to read it, and keep an open mind. That's really all it boils down to. Corn, I'll be praying for you. Landy, I understand. Gabriel, for me, he shifts between pressure and cool electric to soft warmth, very odd and vast. Have you ever read any of Gemma Gary's work? Gemma Gary's brilliant. Love Gemma Gary. Very focused on Cornish witchcraft and the cunning folk of Cornwall. Some of the books are a bit broader, but usually what you'll find is very specific, Cornish craft. But it's just, it's really interesting. I love reading Gemma Gary's works. And we also heard he was part of Golden Dawn. He wasn't happy with the original, and he and another gent splintered off the original. Are you talking about Crowley? Yeah, he was. He actually went through Golden Dawn like wildfire. I think he made it through. Was it 9th degree? Can't remember now. He flew through the degrees. And he definitely ruffled a lot of feathers in the Golden Dawn. A lot of people did not like him. People who had initiated him as well. And then he went in. That's why when he went off and created Thelema. And then what's his name from the OTO? After he wrote the Book of Lies, there was a lot of stuff in the Book of Lies that what's the OTO's guy's name? German guy. He kind of reached out to Crowley and said, "You are not supposed to have all of this information. How do you know this information? It's exclusive to the OTO, Order Templi Orientis." And Crowley said no, he didn't know. He just Theodore Royce, that was it. And he said, it's just stuff that he discovered himself, and then he got pulled into the OTO and kind of brought Thelema into the OTO and created the AA, the Argentium Astrum, the Order of the Silver Star, and all that stuff. So yeah, he was in Golden Dawn. Giving you a long story now. Kerry Lee, I wonder if this pull to a term like Witchblood could be akin to the Gnostic pneumatics. Or is the Witchblood more tied to the land? The Witchblood concept is tied to a lot of things. Hold on, I just need to familiarise myself with Gnostic pneumatics again. I'm not really a Gnostic person. Pneumatics. Let's just get a quick familiarisation. Highest order of humans, the other two orders being psychics and hylics. The pneumatic saw themselves as escaping the doom. Oh no, definitely not anything to do with that. No, this is talking about like orders of levels of humans. And no, the Witchblood is there's a lot of ways people actually view the Witchblood, but it's kind of like that pull to the land, yes. But to the concepts, to the ancestors, to things that are old, to things that are natural, to it's just it's in your blood and bone, as we say, and I think it takes a long time for people to realise that they have the Witchblood, and the Witchblood is awakening and enlivening. And starting to flow and whatnot, and it's a concept. It's about a particular connection to a current, to an energy flow, and we kind of all feel it, and even people a lot of people who are in ceremonial magic nowadays, Thelema, Golden Dawn, all of that stuff. I think a lot of, well, Thelema specifically, because Thelema kind of, Crowley went in, it brought a bit more paganism into it. So, you know, you do get that pull to nature, pull to the witch blood also. So there's a lot of overlap, but you know, I have come up against it over the years, especially in like the early 2000s, where you know people were carrying on that you know, if you weren't born into a witch family, you can't be a witch, and all of this stuff. You know, if this didn't happen with you, you can't be a witch. And the same type of thing came up with the concept of witch blood. If you do not have the witch blood flowing through you, you are not a witch. And then people would start questioning, well, what's the witch blood, and why do I have it? Don't I have it? And then, you know, doubt started popping in, and you know, I think a lot of people got misled. But it's an interesting concept. It's just really about being connected to the current of the ancestors and the land. It's really what it is. It's gone quiet. I'm wondering if I'm still... Looks like I'm still active. And Angie's very quiet because she's listening to Bauhaus. There's a lot of Susie in this playlist though. It's like every second song is Susie. Bloody hell. Right, why is everybody so quiet now all of a sudden? Come on. I'm going to drink my hot chocolate then. Awesome play. It is an awesome playlist. I do like this playlist. It's very good. It is the Susie and the Banshees mix, so I suppose having Susie at every second song is like expected. I think Andrea is keeping an eye on Alistair. He's going to cook. She actually, every week this comes up, and I keep thinking to myself, does she actually want him to cook? Because if he hasn't been cooking, it could be a disaster, you know. Kerry, as to being connected to the ancestors, we spoke about the elementary canal and gut microbes that store information, memories from our ancestors that affect instinct and intuition. Yeah, there is. I haven't really got into too much of that. I mean, you've got the gut brain. This gets a bit difficult because, you know, it depends again. We're going to come back to worldview in this instance, because my concept of what happens when we die and who becomes our ancestors is going to be very different to a lot of people on here. You know, the cosmic soup. You get mixed up in the cosmic soup, and then a chunk gets taken out and gets put into a body, and that contains a lot of different souls. So, you know, if you look at it from that perspective, you got connected to so many ancestors. But you know, we tend to go by bloodline, and in that case, you know, when we're going by bloodline, you don't have to go by bloodline, by the way. If anybody's listening to this who is adopted or anything like that, don't have to. Ancestors do not need to be bloodline. But you know, if we are going by bloodline, then yeah, sure. You know, you've got connections with DNA and all of that stuff. So you're definitely going to have that memories, ancestral memories and things. Quan said ancestors magic, and working with them is hard at times. And working with elemental was a good experience for me. I find working with the ancestors to be easier than working with any other spirits. And it may be the ease of it that kind of gets people. Because, I think in a lot of different types of forms of magic, we kind of expect it to be complex. You have to go through rituals that take like hours and hours and hours. And then all of a sudden you're presented with something that's just easy. And we start to question its validity, and its potency. And some of the easiest spell workings and easiest methods are just the most potent. And I think when it comes to ancestors, it's just easy because we've already got a connection. So we don't really have to work so much at it, but we feel we do need to work at it because, it's not part of normal society. So, I don't know. Just take things as they come. Oops. Oh, where's my bloody... Oh, there we go. There's my chat gun. Where's my other one? Oh, what's that one? Okay. Alright. What about theurgy? So theurgy, let me just double check my definitions here, otherwise I'm going to start talking shit. The operation the operation or effect of a supernatural or divine agency. Basically, theurgy is working with the divine, whereas thaumaturgy is working with the... Wait. Well, let's just do this over here. Alright, let's get all this right. Just in case anybody else is wondering what we're talking about, also, this helps. Theurgy is also known as divine magic, is one of two major branches of the magical arts, the other being practical magic or thaumaturgy. So thaumaturgy is kind of like the working with the elements, working with the things, practical magic, whereas it's actually kind of esoteric versus exoteric. No. Scratch that. I'm going to scratch that bit. That's probably a very, very bad comparison. But yeah. Gills. Oh, sorry, Gills. Hello, Gills. You asked what is theurgy? Oh, there we go. So sorry. I thought you were asking what about theurgy. So yeah, no, it's working with divine. It's working with gods, goddesses, all of that stuff. That's what theurgy is. There we go. So we've answered that one. Let's move on. I'm all over the place today. You have to excuse me. Corn. I made my first wand and made my chanupa about a year back, and have been using it in my magical practices. Nice, good stuff. Yeah, I've got two wands. I'm not really a tools person, but I've got two wands, and if anybody sees them, they're very disappointed because it's just a stick. It's nicely sanded and everything else, and it's imbued with energy and stuff, but really it's just a stick. So people go, "Oh, what's your wand?" And then I'll show them a stick, and they're like, "Oh, okay." That wasn't very exciting. Yeah. Kerry, it's in our DNA though. It's just a matter of leaning into our intuition. Yeah. This is where I think this is where conversations like that kind of revolve around tribes. I don't know really what to term it. Kind of large soul things, where you've got millions and millions of souls all in one, or not even souls, but fragments of a soul, that kind of get put into millions and millions of different bodies, and they have all these different experiences, and then they all get mixed up again and get put into different combinations of facets, and they get put into bodies and they experience everything differently. If you consider that and then an ancestral perspective, it's like millions of people are all ancestors together. And this is why we talk about ancestors gone and yet to come, because there's no time either. So oh, ancestor works brilliant. Love it. Oh, just Yana's here. Hello, Yana. Glad you could join us today. Kerry, I found that working with Claire Goodchild's The Book of the Ancestors to be helpful. I haven't read that one. So now we're going to go on a book hunt again. There's some great books out there regarding ancestors, ancestor veneration and stuff. Okay, let's see. I'll put it in my wish list. There we go. Alright. Cool, thank you, Kerry. I'll look into that book. Thanks for sharing. Hubris, sorry playing with bones, listening in. That's okay. Kerry, play with your bones. Could be taken a very different way, that. Kerry, you're very welcome. You wish we had a blood test that could pick up whether you have witch blood or fae in our DNA. Yeah, this is probably, I mean, witch blood specifically. It's not really about. It's not a kind of blood. It's a current and a flow of energy. And that's why I say we speak about it. You feel it in your blood and bones. Your bones kind of relating to the ancestors and things like that. So it's a concept, really. It's not actually. A fae, on the other hand, could be a different thing. If anybody in your past, in your bloodline, has had sex with a fae, that's a different story altogether. That gets interesting. Corn, I've had people going to me lately asking for me to clear houses out using LBR and HBR. I've had a good time using my magic to help others. Yeah, great. Definitely use the pentagram and hexagram rituals for that. I've been working on a sigil, but I can't seem to focus when trying to launch it. I keep practicing that. That practice makes perfect. I know you're practicing, but you just got to keep doing it. Keep going. Do it over and over and over again. Eventually, you get to the point where you know you've done it. Corn said you'll get it. It takes practice. There we go. Gills in the Book of Solomon. There's the Lesser Key Goetia. Then there's another one, Ars Theurgia. What's that? That is working with the divine, as far as I remember, the angelic. Probably the angelic. It's probably how they defined it in that particular thing. There's also the Theurgia Goetia. So it gets really confusing. Was that the one? Was that Theurgia? Hang on, let's have a look. I always get confused with all these books. The Lemegeton Clavicula Salomonis, or simply the Lemegeton. Alright, let's see. You've got the Ars Goetia, the Ars Theurgia Goetia, Ars Paulina, Ars Almadal, and Ars. Okay, so there's Theurgia Goetia. Let's have a look. Mostly derives from Trithemius's spirits. Rituals not found. Surrender tied to compass points. 4 emperors are tied to the cardinal points. Some dukes. No, these are the wandering princes. Hang on, why don't we just open the freaking book? That'd probably be easier. Alright, while I'm doing that, I'll get back to you just now. Let's have a look. Yeah, I watched a video the other day on the LBRP, and the presenter claimed that the ritual opened the door to release the negative forces one was supposed to be sending away. Hold on. Claimed that the ritual opened the door to release the negative forces. Well, in a way, yeah. I mean, it's a banishing ritual, so you're going to be banishing the negative entities. Am I missing something out? I feel like I'm missing something. Let me know. Celeste Ars Notoria, I think I've seen. Yeah, there's 5 books to the whole thing. Let's have a look. Where's my magic books? I should actually just put this on the screen. You can all watch me do it. We can have a look together. Let's see. We've got book 2. Is it book 2? Yes, book 2. Make it a bit bigger. Yeah, these names are very angelic, actually. I think this is all. Let's just have a look. You can find out from the beginning. I'm just going to read to you. There you go. In the following treatise, you have the names of the chief spirits with several of the ministering spirits that are under them, with their seals or characters, which are to be worn as a layman on your breast. For without that, the spirit that has appeared will not obey or to do your will. Doesn't really give us much. You should have a watch party on your Patreon. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Except, don't I have to stream the whatever we're streaming, and then internet goes down, everyone's like, Girls, in the Grey Show, each demon specialises in something. Is there anything like that in your book? Which book in my book? Which book are we talking about? Give me a title. Tell me what you're talking about. This book. Oh. Not really. I haven't worked with this book. I don't work with a lot of the grimoires actually, but there isn't very much as far as I remember. Yeah, no, it's just got the kind of like you have Parmercial. It just says Parmercial is the first and chief spirit ruling in the east, and Carnesial, who hath 1,000 spirits under him. None is to be called in the daytime, but with great care, for they are very lofty and stubborn, whereof we shall make mention of 11, and that's it. You know, there's one thing you have to remember about these old grimoires, is that they are notes. They are magician's notes. They are not official instruction books. So really it was just some magician who was taking his own notes while he's doing his own magic, and then he died and somebody picked it up and went, oh, I should publish this. So, you know, a lot of stuff's missing. The magician probably knew what they were talking about, but didn't communicate it in the book because they had no need to communicate it in the book, because they knew. So, you know, a lot of these old grimoires, there's blinds in them, there's misinformation, there's a load of things missing because of that reason. So, you know, You have to bear that in mind when you're working with them. So, you know, if you do want to work with the spirits from Theurgia Goetia, for example, you're going to have to just reach out to them yourself. And how that looks for you is going to be personal, whether you want to work with the Grimoire, the Solomonic formats, circles and all that stuff, or whether you don't. But, you know, I haven't bothered working with these spirits myself because there's so many of them. I already have a bunch of spirits that I work with quite successfully, and I've got no need to find out what these others can do, really. So that's why I haven't worked with them. However, let's go through the others just to have a look. That was the Ask Pauline is the third book. This one, what was this one? Table of Practice, I like that. Oh, this is the hours of the day. This is a bit like the Heptameron. Just a bit. I think this was probably, if this was written after the Heptameron, it was probably notes taken whilst doing something along those lines. Yeah, that's the hours of the days and the spirits that you work with during the hours of the days. And then we've got book 4, which is the, no, that's the Ars Almadal. And as far as I remember, that one's specifically working with angelic forces. Oh, the 4th, yeah, the times for invoking the angels. Oh, that was it. That's a very short one. And the Ars Notoria. What's that one? Notary. Oh, I think that's a completely different book. Oh, the Ars Nova. Right. And the Ars Nova was... Sorry, am I rambling? Just tell me if I'm rambling and I'm going to stop doing this. This is a conversation. I haven't looked at these in a long time. It's like 6 pages long. Yeah, no, I'm not really sure. But anyway. Yolanda said you can stream for me. Can you? Okay. Theurgia Goetia. Yeah, I'd have to relook at the Theurgia Goetia to actually have a proper understanding of what it was again. I cannot remember. I don't even work with the rituals in the Ars Goetia. I work with the spirits because I find them to be very useful and they're very friendly towards me. But I don't work with the formats of the Solomonic grimoires anyway, so yeah. Corn said Santa Muerte can help a lot with religious trauma and childhood trauma. She has enlightened me a lot. I have heard that she can be very helpful with trauma. Yolandi, what's your opinion of the Lesser Kiosk? That's what we were talking about actually, is the whole thing. All 5 books of the Lesser Kiosk. I heard the translations are wrong. Probably. And they've been passed from person to person to person over hundreds of years. So, you know, it's one of those things of firstly translation and going from person to person, and also, as I said, it's the notes of the magician that was working the magic at the time, so it's not complete anyway. There's a lot of stuff missing. We kind of have to fill in the blanks. And this is why I say, these books are not for beginners, because they don't know, they can't see the blinds, they don't know where to fill in the blanks because they don't know the magic itself. So yeah, I don't know why people recommend the grimoires for beginners. But also, sorry, actually, in regards to the translations, the big one there is what Kerry was talking about, is the Abramelin, the Sacred Book of Abramelin the Mage. The translations there, I mean, Mather's kind of like made it a 6 month operation, right? Wait, 2, 4, 6, 6 month operation, because it's kind of split into 3 segments, so it's 2 months each. Whereas the original is an 18-month operation. It's 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. So Mather's kind of like, completely changed it. And I don't think he wanted to do an 18-month ritual, so he kind of made it 6 months just to make it easier. So yeah, I mean, those translations are all over the place. And you look into the Grimorium Verum, although I do believe I still need to get it myself. Not easy to get it here. But I do believe Joseph Peterson has bought a revised version of the Grimorium Verum out, which has got a lot more in it. Some of the missing texts and stuff, but I mean, sigils and texts and everything is just missing from it. Completely missing, just gone. Anyway, yeah. Kaylee, it's kind of frustrating that we're limited to UPG when I want to share how Agoras helped me in writing, what he's like as opposed to the description in PD by Johan Weyer. I don't think it's actually I think UPG is a very important thing. We just have to remember that it's UPG. And some people's UPG is very personal, and they shouldn't be sharing it. But I think we need to share more UPG so that more people can actually test it. It's the only way we're going to get to a point where we have validity is if multiple people actually test the theories that come through in UPG. And I love reading people's personal experiences. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Johan Weyer, it's a bit of a weird one, actually. There is actually something else that I was thinking in regards to these medieval grimoires. It crossed my mind. They're written from the perspective of Christian or Kabbalah, or something like that, and they speak. You have to invoke Jesus and the angels and everything else in order to control the demons. And sure, maybe a lot of them were from that Christian perspective, but then I was thinking of Dee and Kelly with their Enochian magic and their sorry, making noise on the mic. Their work with the Enochian angels. And yes, they said that they're working with angels, but that really may have just been to avoid persecution, because they were working with the Queen. And the Queen was trying to get all this information from the angels to find out what's happening overseas and all the regions around the world. So, they said, yes, they're angels that they're working with. May not have been angels, but it avoided persecution. So I was actually pondering whether a lot of the old grimoires were written by people who just said that, who kind of portrayed this Christian vibe and, talked about the demons and controlling them, binding them and everything else. But they weren't actually of that, they weren't really doing that type of work personally, but they just put that across to prevent persecution. I don't know. I suppose I can go speak to them at some point and find out. I don't know. Just something that crossed my mind. Gary said S. Connolly has been widely criticised criticise for her UPG though. The fact that she came up with the ends. Well, yeah, I know. But this is the thing about UPG. People don't trust it, and therefore, they say, "Oh, you just had a personal experience, therefore it's not valid. It's stupid and everything else." We want real stuff. We want to know that the book is 100 years old, and therefore it's more real than the one that's 20 years old. It's a load of bullshit, really. A book that's 300, 400, 500 years old can be full of shit. We're talking about the grimoires. Perfect example. So yes, Connolly, and it's not specifically Connolly. Connolly has written about modern demonolatry, which is something that she was taught. It's generational, it's traditional demonolatry, and it's been passed from person to person to person to person for generations. It's just never been public. And there was a very, very good reason for that. And even if that's a load of bullshit, maybe S. Connolly, let's just say, for example, that Stephanie kind of just pulled all this stuff out of backside. And just created this whole thing, modern demonolatry, this whole UPG about the demons, created all these ends, created some translations for the ends, all of this stuff. Let's just for argument's sake say that Stephanie just made it all up one day and was never connected with anything. Does it work? That's the thing we have to ask. Does it work? Put it to the test, because this is what we have to do with UPG. Put it to the test and see if it works. If it works, it's valid. And therefore, it doesn't matter where it came from. It doesn't matter if it was hundreds and hundreds of generations of people passing this knowledge through the line, or whether it just popped out of a head one day. It really doesn't matter. If it works, it works. And the ends work. We know they do. Hundreds and thousands of people have tried them, and it's been verified. So it's no longer UPG, because it's been verified by thousands of people. The ends work. It doesn't matter where they came from. And this is why all these people that carry on criticising, Connolly and all of these other people, just shut up, really. I think if these people are criticising in this fashion, in this manner, they're not actually doing the work. So that's why they're criticising. They're immediately making these assumptions, but they haven't done it. They haven't tried it. They haven't tested it. So they've got no leg to stand on. So yeah, my rant for the day. Thank you very much. All right. Guilds, do food offerings help with powering servitors? They can do. With servitors specifically, I would actually stick to ethereal energy. Is that the right word? Either your own, depending on how you built the servitor and what energy you actually put in to create it in the first place. It could be your own personal energy, your personal power. It could be the elements. It could be your surroundings. It could be a specific emotion. It could be, you could have created a servitor for protection, and therefore any attacks, it kind of takes the energy from that. So it's that kind of energy, the ethereal energy, if that makes sense, rather than the energy you would get from food and drink. Usually when I'm charging a servitor, and I've created a house that it comes back to in order to feed, what I'll do is I will push the energy for its feeding, and as I said, I usually create servitors connected with the different elements. So I'll pour breathe the elements in, and then I'll direct the element into the energy of the element into a thing, into the house itself, and it's quite often a rock, a stone or something, and then the servitor can come back and feed off that energy. It's like a store power battery. So yeah, but yes, you can give food offerings. I think a lot of people do. So there's nothing wrong with it. You can do it. See what works. Find out what works and what doesn't. At the end of the day. Corn, I take personal experience more important than books. The book is just a guide as well. I agree. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Suffer. Hello, Suffer. Thanks for joining. Thoughts on the Gnostic belief of Yaldabaoth the Elder Bayoff, if you don't mind. Because I find the way in which the Gnostics explain the whole thing to be incredibly interesting. Hold on, just making sure. Let me just make sure I got the facts right here. The Elder Bayoff is the dumb, idiotic god that made our universe and Earth and everything else. Who thought he was the big god of all things, god of all creation, but actually wasn't. Eleven god demiurge. Yeah. Now I find it interesting because this is actually often considered to be the Christian god, and the Gnostics came with this point of view that he had this big ego, and he made the earth and kind of created man or humans to be imprisoned on the earth and all of this stuff, and it's just this dumb, misled god. I love that. I absolutely love it. Yeah. Alright, Carrie, I trust Connolly. Chanel Degaris for her claim that his strength is friendship. Yeah, no, I mean, Connolly's really put in the work and the effort and everything else. And as I said, I mean, I don't think that she just made all this stuff up. I do think that she comes from a line of people who worked generational or traditional demonology. And she was initiated into that particular current. So I don't know how far back it goes. We'll probably never know how far back it goes. It's a personal thing. They don't want to share it. And, you know, a lot of people start pushing on that as well. You know, you have to share your sources. Tell us who Ducant really was and all of this stuff. And, you know, no, why? It's personal. She doesn't have to share any of that. She doesn't have to. In fact, I think I mentioned this various times before. The first book, which was originally called Modern Demonology, she changed it to what we were talking about, the Complete Book of Demonology. That actually wasn't supposed to go public. It was written, it was put on Lulu for the Coven members to go and buy so that they could have the work. You know, if anybody new came along, they could go buy the book and they had the workings, the rituals and everything else, the basics of the Coven. I'm sure they call it a Coven. Anyway. But it wasn't supposed to go public, and then somebody found it, and it started going public, and it was uphill from there. Yeah, so that was a mistake, actually. But glad it happened. I really am. I think she's great. Really do. You know, they said I think they are jealous of her. I don't. Yeah, probably, but it's just those people who just have to say stupid things, really. Dragon, hello, Dragon. Glad you could join. Look, Carrie Lee of the Gnostics. I love the story of Pista Sophia. Yeah. What did she do again? I don't remember. I know she did something to piss off the big god, and then kind of got expelled, and then gave birth to the demiurge Yaldabaoth. I'm going to have to look through all of that. Let's oh well, so nobody's asked the question yet, so I might as well look through this. Thunder, perfect mind. Okay, I'm trying to post something, but it's not pulling through. Do you want to send it on thingy? Let's do that. You send it on thingy and I'll post it for you. I need a third screen now so I can put this screen over there. Yes. I'll try to break it up in pieces. Oh, is it long? Okay, that's probably why. Yeah, it's the problem with YouTube. It's very short character length. What's the names? I'll just go through all of it. I'm not going to do that now. There is a channel on TikTok. Oh yeah. Carry the Thunder, Perfect Minds of Poem, the Nakamadi. Okay. The Jank collects ancient books of religion. Yeah, regarding the Nag Hammadi, I got interested in that years and years and years and years ago. Long time ago. I never really followed through with it. So it became an interest for a while, but not really something I followed through with. He has an old Gregorian hymn book that was written by hand. Okay. Actually, talking about that, a lot of the old books were illuminated and written by hand. And copies were then written by hand by the monks. Yeah, very cool. Started falling apart, so they stitched it together, but there are pages missing. It's so sad. Yeah. Pity we're going to lose a lot of. There's been wars and there's been like a destruction of Alexandrian library and all of that stuff. It's really sad. So much we've lost. It's the last part that's not going through. And Kerry said I got interested in Sophia when I learned that the Hebrew word for the Holy Spirit was female. Yeah, and there's also, I mean, you've got the Shekinah, you've got Asherah, all of these feminine aspects to God. Celeste, have you watched Esoterica? Oh, love Dr. Justin Slade. He's absolutely brilliant, and all of the people he has on. He had Thorn Mooney. There you go. He had Thorn Mooney on recently with who was, I can't remember who the guy was, but he has these panels on with like academics and practitioners and stuff, and they're really fascinating stuff. But I just love Thorn Mooney. I think she's brilliant. Andy, for me, it's not about the religion; it's history that is lost. Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you. Yeah, but yeah, no, Dr. Everybody here loves Dr. Justin Sled. So. He is brilliant. He's the one person, as far as I remember, he does refer to himself quite often as a demonologist, and he is the one demonologist who I can actually listen to, because usually they're just Christians, and they're just kind of, there's no discernment. It's just like, you know, I'm a Christian, demons are evil, etc, etc, etc. But he is open to everything, and he looks at everything from a kind of observer perspective, and really examines all of the topics, and it's fun, absolutely fascinating, and he really knows his stuff. Fantastic academic, really is. Corn, I've been trying to get a deeper understanding of my spiritual name the spirits gave me in the Native American path. The head shaman give you your name, but the spirit doing it makes me wonder. Okay, well, don't share your name. That's a very, very personal thing. You shouldn't share with anybody. I'm not sure how I can help you, actually. I've been given magical names by spirits. It's kind of interesting. I think it is a bit difficult to understand what the name is sometimes as it's coming through. 'Cause it kind of comes in bits and pieces, and as I said, I mean, trying to interpret um, impressions into letters is really difficult. But yeah. Kerry at Corn, I was given the name Tape, I can't remember how you pronounce that. It's Old Irish, means ghost. I shared my name. No, it's fine. It's just sometimes when you get a spiritual name, it shouldn't be shared. And sometimes people aren't aware of that, and they just kind of share them all over the place, not realizing. I mean, I've had loads of names. Red Oak was one that was given to me by King Go. Before that was like Mavonez, Oakman. I've been John Lightfeather, can't remember. Peladairu. So yeah, I mean, there's been all these various names. Obviously, I'm not going to share the name of my personal daimon, because that is something that you should never ever share with another living soul. When I say personal daimon, I mean what other people may refer to as the holy guardian angel. But yeah, so it's just one of those things. Just make sure you can share it before you do. Just a lot of people tend to blurt it out and not realise. So yeah, if you can share it, that's fine. Landy, I was surprised when my neighbour's daughter was possessed by a parasite. Excuse me. He listened to my explanation, still went the Christian route, but he listened to me. You'll find that there are certain people who are open to various different aspects. They may be religious, they may be Christian, but they're still open to other things. I think it depends just the upbringing of a person, what path they've taken through life, and it becomes so different for everybody. This is why, I mean, we generalise and things like this. There's some good people out there from all different faiths, and there's bad people from all different faiths, including paganism. I mean, there's a lot of bad pagans and magicians and all of those. But it's not about the path, the tradition, or the religion. It's about, it's about the person. Yeah. And sometimes if somebody's really, really desperate, they are going to listen to everybody who comes along. Doesn't matter what source it comes from, they just need the help. And, they're going to listen to everybody. Celeste names hold power. They definitely can, yeah. There's a whole thing about if you have the true name of something, then you control it. What that true name is varies. From a far rock away, hello. Name is AIM. I know there's a trick in here somewhere. I'm just trying to figure out what you're trying to say. Okay, I don't know. You lost me. You don't have to explain that one. Ooh, I love this song. This is one of my favourite Susies. I've lost the playlist. Where'd the playlist go? Oh, there it is. Oh, I'm actually quite sleepy tonight, I'd say. Oh, right, so something from Yolandi. I missed that. They're Koza, and trust me, I think that's why they listened. Oh, yeah, no, you'll definitely find. I mean, I think a lot of the African tribes in South Africa, they're going to be a lot more open usually because they have traditional ways as well, which Christianity they only really got exposed to later on, only in the past was it now 100 and something years? How old is it? I can't remember. But anyway, so they still have they're still very rooted in traditional ways, and which I think is fantastic. The problem is that modernization is kind of pushing that away, which is very sad. Of course, I will add, if you go speak to people from the various African tribes, Xhosa, Zulu, etc., etc., you do have to be careful about wording, words you use. Don't go unless they understand what you mean when you say witch. Oh, yeah, that can get very complicated. You have to watch out for burning tyres then. Kerry, my First Amendment rally went well. Spoke with lots of legislators. Agaras built me up to speak to power. Good stuff. Yeah, I'm glad it went well. I know you were working on that for a long time. I just said pagan. Yeah, thank that's a better word to use. Pagan. Andrea, sorry I had to cook. Back now. Alistair. That's alright, Andrea, that's alright. I was saying earlier, I don't know if you caught it, you keep saying you want Alistair to get into the kitchen, but what if it's really, really bad? It is very quiet tonight. Set straight. I must present myself properly. Sit up straight in my chair. I lost my humour today. Sorry, everyone. Oh, don't need humour. It's cool. But it does look like everybody's very quiet. So maybe we should end today a little earlier. Yolandi, it was a tough day. Yeah, I know. Corn, the fairy folk working was an interesting experience. It would be. You've got to be very, very careful with the good folk though. That's a whole different kettle of fish. Very different to working with the deities. Okay, my son is doing better. Oh yes, with traumatic brain injury. We're still waiting for insurance to appear. Okay, that's going well though. Fat Muppet. Hello, Fat Muppet. I haven't seen you in a while, don't I think. Now that I know your real name, I will bind your love to me. Kerry. Okay, there we go. A love affair begins. Alright, I think I'm going to end early today because it's quiet and I'm sleepy. Trying to think what to expect, announcements or anything like that. What's coming up this week? Hang on, let me just open this and I can tell you what's coming up this coming week. Oh, tomorrow is the Path series. I'm talking about Rosicrucianism. And then on Wednesday, I'm talking about geometric spirits. It's just something that came up in a discussion recently, and it doesn't get mentioned often, but it's a very interesting topic. Anyway, you're going to have to wait for that. Yeah, that's this week. And you know all my usual stuff. Go join me on, sign up for a tier on my Patreon if you want to support me. You can join the Temple of the Horn Serpent if you want magical training. What have we got on there now? Yeah, I've got all the Temple of the Horn Serpent stuff. So that's all the foundational training you can go through. And then I've got the Egregore project, which is still going. We're busy creating the new one, which is a muse. Which I must say haven't even burst it yet, and it's already working really, really well. And we've got the Obsidian Veil, which is a protection and cleansing rite that I do once a month for everybody. And then we've got the journal, which is just me experimenting with magic, talking rubbish once a week, and just putting stuff out. I don't know if any of it makes sense to people or not, but it's just me doing my own stuff. It's like a vlog type thing. Yeah, and then the $3 tier, which is just thanks for the support. You enjoy my stuff. There we go. But yeah, I'll go and have a look on Patreon. Right, everybody's saying goodnight. Alright. Dragon, how about a series about divination methods and pathworking series? I'm not a diviner myself, so it would be a bit of a, I don't really know that much about divination to actually talk about it officially, with authority, let's put it that way. Pathworking series, what do you mean by pathworking? Are you talking about the pathworking the Tree of Life, where the term pathworking originated from? Or are you talking about going on guided meditations, pathworkings? Which are a bit different to guided meditations, actually. Yeah, just let me know quickly. I'm not going to go straight off. Yeah, you didn't do a divination. Corn, be careful, and safe, blessed be all. And to you too. Thanks for joining. And thanks for the chat, everybody. Dragon, just let me know in regards to pathworking. I was actually thinking of recording a load of guided meditations and pathworkings and whatnot. Pathworking is actually not really pathworking. Yeah, pathworkings get very difficult because, if you're going to actually do a pathworking, it should be something that you can be there for the person when they actually come out of it, because it's a very specific kind of journey that they take, and they get communications from various spirits and all of that stuff, and it's something that needs to be interactive, not just during the pathworking, but when you come out of the pathworking. So guided meditation. Oh, you said guided meditations. Yeah, I can have a look at doing some of that. I keep putting more and more on my plate. This is the problem. I've got a new project now that I've started. But yeah, I will probably get around to it. I'm actually busy putting together a big course on necromancy and death magic, and that's going to have a whole load of guided meditations for all different things, working with different aspects of necromancy. So that's going to be fun. But I'll start having a look at doing that. Been thinking about it for a long time. So. Okay, so I love you all. Be safe. Love you too. Have a good one. Fat Muppet, I think we should elect one world leader, and it should be Joe Rogan. Sure about that. Alright, I'm going to go. Thank you everybody for the chat. Thanks for joining. And I will see you all next